Back on, welcome back to another day here, the second day of the Crank Gather Season 2 Group Stage, your new invitational, or Team League Invitational. Let's go. I'm of course VIP with you, and I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. Bienvenidos, papi, bienvenidos to the second day of our Team League, or Team Show Match Invitational. Show Match Team League Invitational. Here we go. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words a little bit here because it's not quite a league, but it is a multi-day event here. It's going to be lasting all week, and yesterday we were live with day one. We were live with the preliminary stage. This was basically, day one was basically seeding matches. Seeding matches for players, for teams to advance onto the playoffs and for teams to be knocked down to the group stage instead. And here we are live with said group stage. If you're tuning in for the first time, if you're curious what is going on, is this like a replacement to WTL? Not quite. Currently, at least, this is a one-off event. Shout out to Chizik. They are the main sponsors of the tournament. They have partnered, of course, with Crank to bring this to you here and now. These matches are less than 24 hours old. Bear that in mind. These events were only live streamed and can only be live streamed over on the Chizik platform, which is a competitor to Africa TV/Soup. So it can only be live streamed there, which is why we are streaming via replays 24 hours later, or less than 24 hours later after the fact, here on Twitch, YouTube, and everywhere else. Just as a heads up. When it comes to the format itself, it is going to be an old school Pro League format. Let's quickly head on over and catch up on our first series of the broadcast and go over the format itself. Now again, yesterday we were live with the preliminary stage. We have already wrapped that up, and now we are going live with what? With the group stage. Here we go. So these are the teams that did not get seeded into the playoffs. These are the teams that actually lost their matches yesterday. Which teams exactly? Streamerzone, Shopify, and Team Vitality. Those are the three teams here that got knocked down, and of those three teams, only one team will advance on to the playoffs. Oh boy. So it is going to be a round robin group stage. Streamerzone, Shopify, and Team Vitality that will all play against each other in a round robin group stage format, and then at the end of the matches, at the end of the group, we'll be able to determine the top placing team, and they will advance on into said playoffs. When it comes to the matches themselves, you can see them here before you. These are lineups that are submitted ahead of time, so players, they have some time to prepare for their matches. They're aware of the map ahead of time as well, and it is a best of 5, or I say an overall Team League match, best of 5 Pro League format, which means this is a best of 5 constructed by best of 1s. We have Nightmare versus Lambo on Ruby Rock. We have Jumy versus ByuN in 10,000 feet. We have Nightmare and SOS coming together in a 2v2 format, going up against Harambo with Lambo and Harstem on Gem Garden. And we have Gerald up against Harstem on Andromeda. If we do have an ace match, it's going to be on Tourmaline. If you notice that these are all maps that are featured in the Team Liquid Map Contest tournament, all maps that, I mean, voting is already concluded, but these are all basically fresh maps, including the 2v2 map as well. So here we go. Also, as a heads up, just because sometimes this can be a little bit confusing, this is overall a best of 5, that is true, but all initial 4 matches will be played regardless of results. So technically, this series could end in a 4-0. This could end in a 4-0, and the ace match will not be played. If we do end up tied up 2-2, then we will of course have the ace match play out, but otherwise it is going to be a little bit unnecessary here. We could end up with like 4-0s and things of that nature, just as a heads up here when it comes to the overall format, just because these initial matches will be played regardless of score. And again, this will impact overall standings at the end of the group stage, just because we're going to be tallying in, and that can impact breaking ties as well. So that is going to be quite crucial coming into the overall finals, coming into the overall final standings. But there we go. Up first, we have Shopify versus Streamerzone. Coming into this, Streamerzone, of course, they are coming in as one of the weaker teams. I didn't actually realize this until we actually had these matches unfold. We did notice it yesterday as well in day one, but I didn't realize that Streamerzone had purely a Protoss matchup, a Protoss lineup, I should say. They've got Nightmare, Jumy, SOS, Gerald. They've got Lunacy as well. Like, they've got purely Pro. It's like Starlight Twinkle, but international edition. So yeah, I didn't realize how Protoss heavy their lineup was until like seeing it in a Team League format like this. Shopify, of course, a little bit more well-rounded. They do have Scarlet, and she will be competing later on in the broadcast. I believe Scarlet is going to be fielded against Team Vitality if I recall correctly. Yes. So Scarlet, she's gonna be competing later on tonight against Team Vitality, so that is gonna be exciting stuff there. Again, we can go over the other lineups once we get up to them. Here we go. Here we go, as we're jumping into game one. Game one is going to be on Ruby Rock. We're jumping into Nightmare versus Lambo. Oh boy. Alright, jumping in. Into our first game of our Team League match, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Streamerzone. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, representing Shopify. It is Lambo. Here we go, and again, one game is all you had. What I love about this matchup, of course, is that players, they do have time ahead. They have some time to prepare for their matches. They have some time to devise a plan and to devise some builds as well. I think it's even more crucial just because these are TLMC21 maps, so the maps are a little bit more unique, and I'm sure the players have less experience on the maps as well, so they do have some time to prepare for said map, for said matchup, for said player as well. Initially, Lambo does go for his natural base. Let's go for the unnatural natural, as Nightmare is in position to delay. Welcome to Ruby Rock. The rush distance background of this map is quite short. It is quite short, and I will say that the third base is relatively open. We do have an open third towards the left-hand side. We have an open entrance here on the right, which can actually lead into the natural as well, and another entry point here towards the left-hand side, which will really be used when it comes to aggression. Run-bys potentially can hit that mineral line from that southern side, though, especially bailing run-bys. But as you mentioned, the rush distance by ground is relatively short and relatively direct, as there is no high ground advantage at the third base either. We have seen a lot of 3-base all-ins on this map, and initially I'm going to be expecting a 3-base all-in out of a Lambo. But I also know that Lambo, he has been exploring some of the new aspects of the patch and has been enjoying making use of infestors, making use of ultras, getting into hive tech, and making use of the new microbial shroud. I know he has had a lot of success with that, but how often will he use that? Will he be able to get there is the question. Nightmare is also known for his mid-game aggression. He's not the most passive of player. He's not like a Showtime. He's not like even Creator can at times be a little bit more passive, a little bit more defensive. Nightmare's typically more in your face. We'll see. We'll see how our players do approach this matchup. So now it is going to be a link speed on the way. We pull out a gas, of course, saturating our natural, and soon to be taking a third. At the same time, and Nightmare also setting up at home as well. Stargate is the tech of choice. No surprise there. So Stargate into Oracle into a third base. Everything's looking normal so far from Nightmare. I spoke earlier about 3-base all-ins. I mean, there are 3-base all-ins available for the Protoss as well to be hyper aggressive. So we'll keep an eye on the gateway count and on the gas count at the third base as well for Nightmare to see if he does go for a gateway explosion, to see if he does double down on 3 bases. Otherwise, we are going to be calming down. Again, just droning, just saturating, waiting for the first Oracle to arrive. Until then, we have Adepts that can threaten Shades. We can try to poke in and try to get some scouting information, as the Adepts are just now moving out. 2 Adepts, of course, they can one-shot workers, so this can threaten Lambo, but these should not get much damage. This early on, the Queens and the Lings should be in position, and Lambo should be okay. Same time, Lambo does slip into the natural. Overlord does spot the move out, and Lambo, he will not get a probe. As Lambo goes further in for a full scout. Adepts, they make their way across the map. As he doesn't quite commit. Lambo back at him is getting ready. He, of course, did confirm the Stargate, so Spores on the way in the main base. We have Queens getting in position as well. We have 2 Queens here at the natural. So far, so good. Lambo does claim his third. And we'll keep an eye on the Twilight Council timing. Oracle pokes out, gets 1 drone. Just the 1. Gets 1 drone kill, pulls away. Second Oracle has arrived. It is going to be early Eva Chamber at Lambo. This screens +1 melee. This typically indicates that we're going to be skipping roaches, or if we do get a safety roach warren, we don't really intend on investing into roach production. This looks like +1 melee. Typically it's a Ling Hydra, but in the latest patch we have seen a rise in popularity of going Ling Bane. Ooh, a station trap goes off. No reaction out of Lambo. Lambo, he was otherwise distracted by the other Oracle. A big misstep here, and a good third of his mineral line gets caught out. Not bad. 5 drones get caught. Queen as well. +1 melee has begun. As we mentioned, again, it's going to be for a Ling heavy style. Whether it's Ling Bane or Ling into Hydra, yet to be determined. Meanwhile, Twilight Council in the Forge. Standard follow-up here out of Nightmare. We're expecting Blink, as he does now move out with his wave of adepts. Now remember, these are vanilla adepts. They've just been spotted by Lambo. Lambo is aware. Lings are amassing. Queens are coming forward. Remember, there's no safety roaches here to defend against this. Just Ling Queen. And again, it's only 6 adepts, so they shouldn't get too much done here. They poke in, they zone away. We commit into the main. Drones, again, they're a little bit late to react, but only 2 drone kills, so nothing major. And Lambo should defend. Yeah, he will defend. So only 2 drone kills. One adept barely tries to get away. Lambo is on the chase. Behind this, we have our upgrades. And Nightmare is actually taking up. Okay, he's taking up in towards Storm. So he's not going for a 3-way soul in. It does mean that Nightmare most likely will be taking his gases. Getting into the mid game. Nest has been thrown now for Lambo, so he is playing Ling Bane into most likely Hydra. I did mention earlier that Lambo in recent times he has been known to embrace and go into Hive into Ultra Tech in this matchup. We'll see if he gets there. For now, he's on the way. And the question is going to be, after we get this Hydra Den, do we follow this up with Lurker Tech or with Hive Tech? If at all. As Lambo's getting his 4th base, he's cutting workers, massing up all the Lings. We do see Nightmare pushing in. Blink is not yet done, and Nightmare, he's vulnerable. As Ling's actually getting across the map. Storm is not done. Yeah, Storm isn't ready. No energy for a recall. Shield battery is going to go down. Nice pick up here by Lambo, and Nightmare is racing back home with the Oracles. At the same time, Stalkers they move in, but there are Lings at him to defend. Lambo's supply block though. Yeah, Lambo's supply blocked. Probes they try to pull away. That's going to be 6 probes going down. We get some decent damage here by Lambo. And again, he does at least alleviate that pressure. At least he does force Nightmare back. This entire time, Nightmare could have been threatening the bases. Lambo is holding on. He's droning up to 80. So he's getting up to 4 base saturation. Droning up. Nightmare, he's getting his, or he's claiming his 4th base. Lambo at this point, I believe he's almost done droning. He's getting up to 82 workers, massing up his Ling, Bane, Hydra, and he's pushing. He's pushing. The goal here is for Lambo to max out and to break Nightmare. Now, we spoke earlier how open the 3rd base is. Likewise, the 4th base. I mean, the bases themselves are relatively close together. We have some decent SimCity here. We are lacking some Storms on the right-hand side, so Storms, the High Templar out of position. And Nightmare, he has to pull away. Oof. Yeah, a bit of a late blink. And with that High Templar, the Ling Hydra's going to get out of hand. It's going to get out of control. There we go, the High Templar do rotate. Nightmare, he actually brings his entire army together. That means if there is a run by, he won't really have much to defend. But here come the Storms. High Templar somewhat exposed. First Storm is decent. Another Storm zones away, and we get a Storm on the Bailey's, but they should finish up in time. Oh, never mind. Barely not. Again, that was close. Bailey's, they almost did finish. And Nightmare takes a pretty strong fight. And thankfully, he does back off. If he kept pushing, he could have gotten surrounded. Would have overextended. So he pulls away, takes a defensive stance here at his fourth base. We only have one shield battery, so we're lacking shield batteries here. Bearing in mind the Lambo, he's committing. Again, it's kind of like a quote-unquote lair tech all-in. There's no gases at the fourth base. The fifth base has no lava. Sorry, has no droning, I should say. He has no further tech, no hive, no lurkers, no nothing. Just pure Lingbane Hydra. Just pure lair tech. Now, what this means is that as the game goes on, as Nightmare defends, he's getting better and better. Like, his army is just getting stronger over time. He's getting perfected. Bangs ready to roll in. Get two. Get two. Templar go down. Oh no! Every Templar falls. So yeah, massive connections. No more storms. And with that, Lambo, he's done it. Lambo, he has done it. That was what, 6 High Templar going down. With lack of storms, there's no defending this. And Lambo, he has successfully broken the fourth base. Nightmare, unfortunately, he was unable to protect his High Templar. He was lacking those storms. Tries to recall, but he cannot get away. And Lambo, no, he recalls to the base. No, recalls the fourth base. GG gets called, and Lambo, he will snowball out of control. He will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. And again, this kind of aggressive build, this kind of all-in play does work that much stronger here on Ruby Rock. There's a lot of these maps where they have a shorter rush distance by ground, they're a little bit more accessible. Ruby Rock is one of them. Initially, Nightmare, he had a really impressive defense. I'm referring to the moment where he was able to catch the Banelings morphing in the center of the map, but as he pulled back, his follow-up was lackluster. Whether it came to lack of shield batteries, more importantly, lack of SimCity. What was at his fourth base? A pylon and a shield battery. Typically, you do need extra gateways, extra shield batteries, extra pylons, just so you can create these choke points, create these funnel points where you can storm and shut down attempted Lingbane diving on your army. Alas, the fourth base was completely open. Very minimal buildings, very minimal SimCity, very minimal ways to deal with that kind of onslaught of zone. GG. So GG, well played. With that, Lambo does take the first game in the series, and with that, Shopify take a lead. And we'll see if Streamerzone can bring it back. Oh boy. We'll see if they can bring it back here. As up next, we do have our next pairing of players. We have our next setup. Our next players do rise up to the challenge here. It is going to be ByuN. ByuN is going to be going up against Jumy in another best of 1. I believe this one is going to be on 10,000 feet. Another rush map. This is even more aggressive than Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock, it does have a shorter rush distance by ground. It does have a more exposed, like, third and fourth bases are a little bit more open. Here, the rush distance by ground is even shorter than that, and the fourth bases are even more exposed. The third base feels a little bit more defendable depending on which third base you take. We'll get into it as we're loading into 10,000 feet. Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss for Streamerzone. It is Jumy. We go. Now, what I will say is I'm a little bit concerned for Streamerzone, just because we said this yesterday, actually. Nightmare is the ace player. Like, Nightmare, he is the best player on Streamerzone, and hey, he had a decent showing against Lambo, but like, he is the player that you have to rely upon to kind of take charge, take the lead, and really kind of spearhead your team and spearhead the rest of your players coming into this Team League match. For Nightmare to lose that first game, it is a really big blow, and you're asking a lot of the rest of your players here. So the pressure is on 10,000 feet, not just because they're down in the series, but because it was Nightmare that did lose the first game. So, oh boy. Again, the pressure is now on Jumy. Jumy is typically hyper-aggressive, unlike Nightmare, who was a little bit more defensive, a little bit more reactive to Lambo. Here, especially in this matchup, I expect to see Jumy be in the face of ByuN. For now, though, this is a brutal start. So if you remember, we spoke about this map. Short rushes by ground, the third base is a little more exposed. We get the eBay block, a very well-placed eBay block. Now we scout, now we confirm, and Jumy, it's such a late expansion. Yeah, he pulls the boys, Zealot is on the way. I was about to say that Jumy, he can't expand at the third location as a natural, like the base is just so exposed and so wide open, and he agrees. He has to deal with this instead. He has to pull the boys, focus on the eBay. We can see that ByuN is getting a little bit more progression as much as he can without finishing. Oh, just that little bit of extra HP. And Jumy, he starts things off with a deficit. Again, that's 7 probes off the mineral line. Zealot has arrived, and ByuN does cancel. And finally, Jumy can expand. But again, Jumy, this is so much lost mining time. Now I can pull back. And ByuN back at him, he's just chilling. Getting a CC on the high ground. Getting into his own factory follow-up. Jumy now does expand, but again, a rocky start for the Protoss. Not like this, but not like this. Meanwhile, as we're getting into this, a big shout out to White Puma in the chat. God, my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. I do apologize if the alert didn't go off. I don't think it did. If it did, I missed it, so I do apologize. So Jumy does pick up the ramp, does step and threaten. As he can attempt to bait out the shot here with a Zealot. Yo, we got the repairs, let's go. ByuN. Comes in, repairs said Widow Mine, just maintains its position, and can soon start to move out. Here comes the medevac, soon to be for drop play. Likewise, we have our take of choice, going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Jumy, heading into Blink. I'm assuming Blink, as I mentioned before, Jumy, he is known to be more aggressive in this matchup. I see in this matchup, in general, Jumy, he's an animal. And he's willing to be much more in your face and very all-in at times. Do we dare open charge? Where are you taking us? Going for Blink. Okay, going for Blink. We'll keep an eye on the gateways. So far, we have a second gateway on the way. We'll see if we go up to 3 or 4 gates. We'll see how committed Jumy's going to be on 2 bases. Speaking of, there's that third gateway. Third gateway is being taken. We have yet to take the gases at the natural. We'll keep an eye on Jumy. At the same time, here comes the drop. Ideally, they wouldn't mind zones away the gateway units and the Marines to just go to town in the mineral line on those probes. Okay, here comes the third gas geyser. Drop comes in. Oh. Gets him to the high ground, denies mining. Ooh, doesn't want to waste a shot. Nice on burrow here out of ByuN. It does on burrow. The Water Mine does not manage to burrow in time, though. And Jumy defends. Jumy does defend. He will lose 1 probe, I believe. And just 1 worker, if that. ByuN, he does get a scout off. He does get eyes on the gateways. He's aware. Sees all the gateways, sees all the gases. Ooh, the medevac is going to be shut down. A bit of an extension here from ByuN. Yes, ByuN, he does get a lot of scouting information, but this was an expensive scout for ByuN. Did deny some mining, of course. Did kill a probe, but alas, as we mentioned, quite expensive. I'll say that's a nice little win here for Jumy, and behind this, he is going to be expanding. So 3rd base is on the way, so 3-gate Blink into a 3rd, and then going straight in towards Colossus production. We'll see if he can stabilize. We'll see if he can survive long enough to build up his Colossus count. Again, the pressure is still on Jumy. ByuN is still at the advantage. Going for his own Raven harass. At the same time, back at home, ByuN is building up his tanks, working towards Stim. ByuN, he is renowned for being a little more passive and a little more defensive in TVP. That is true. Like we've pointed out time and time again. For whatever reason, this year he has kind of taken a bit of a different approach to the Terra versus Protoss matchup. But on this map, especially with the momentum that he has, there is going to be a window in time where ByuN can push and can look to end the game. So far, he gets 3 probe kills. Ooh, Raven is going to get sniped. Nice pick up that of Jumy. That was not quite worth it for ByuN. A Raven for only 3 workers. ByuN, he sees. He knows. Up. Observer, get out of here. Observer does pull away. You can see ByuN giving chase. And ByuN is going for his 3rd. Yeah, as we mentioned, like ByuN, he's known to slow things down a little more in this matchup. He can still move out with his upgrade timing, don't get me wrong. With Stim, Combat Shields +1, I think he should. Where he's not doubling down on 2 bases. He's not pulling like a Cure or a Bunny, who would often just commit and pull the boys. Meanwhile, Saigon Harass does come in. Gets a couple of workers. Once again, though, is going to be cornered and should be shut down. Does fall. At least ByuN gets eyes on saturation, gets eyes on the 3rd base. The Colossus is slowly building up. We're getting there. So here comes ByuN. The center ideally wants to bait the stalkers in. Oh! Does get a shut off. Just the one. As the upgrades are complete for ByuN here, and we'll see if he does commit to his push. The observer does spot this. Jumy's aware. He's ready. Doesn't quite get the mana back, but doing the best he can to slow down this push. Gets a medevac. ByuN overextends. Gets 2. 2 medevacs go down. Decent pickups here by Jumy. Oh, what about the main army? Tanks are moving in. Charge is done. Diving on the tanks, not bad. Getting 1, getting 2 tanks already, or 3. Yeah, 3 tanks getting caught on siege. Massive pickups. And Jumy takes the fight. He takes the fight. You could argue maybe chasing a little bit too far away from his Colossi, but he gets another medevac. And Jumy fights well. Gets the final medevac. Oh my god. Jumy! Calm down, buddy. Calm down. Cleans up with the bio as well. ByuN plummets in supply. Again, a brutal fight for ByuN. Got caught on siege. Of course, shout out to the observer for Jumy as he saw the entire move out ahead of time. Picked up the medevacs, which led into this kind of game state where ByuN cannot escape. Leading out so much supply. And Jumy just keeps on going. Oh, that would calm down. It's up to 3 Colossi. He can hold his own. Okay, behind this, his tank count was reset. Viking production just now has begun. And this is one of those games where you understand where ByuN's PTSD comes from. Now, where we saw the extreme of that, of course, with ByuN versus Hero on Mothership, where ByuN, he's like, look, if I ever attack in TVP, I just die. So like, why attack? it's like, you know what? I understand where you're coming from, ByuN. Like I can't. I know. As ByuN is forced to pull some of the boys, SCVs are going to be going down. He's pushing into 3 Colossi though. Nice juggling out of Jumy. Does juggle back, but there's not enough of a gateway army. Just a handful of zealots. Not much support. And no anti-air. Yeah, no anti-air. Oh! Ooh, escapes the 2 Colossi. Barely gets away. But again, he had no stalker support. And it was Jumy's turn to overextend. Well, it's Jumy's turn. Here he is expanding, getting his own 4th base, building up towards extra splash damage. He has Colossi, yes, but now time to work towards Storm. Incorporate both. And from here, the game will slow down. Oh, siema, papi, siema. Dzień dobry. ByuN, he does move out. He's built up to how many Vikings? So far 4, soon to be 8. Making 4 Vikings at a time. Likewise, the anti-air is still lacking here for Jumy. He's got an Archon, he's got a handful of Stalkers. But Zelda can have their way with this. Never goes up. Decent connection. Does graze the army. Yeah, picks up a decent chunk of Marauders. Once again, Jumy, he's got to be careful. Oh no! A bit of miscontrol, he rallies the Stalkers in! Yeah, a bit of a move command instead of an A move. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, so some rough miscontrol. Colossus is going to be going down as well. And ByuN here, this time he has done it. He has done it. Impressive that Jumy survived and was able to shut down the earlier attack. But ByuN's own economy has been untouched. And even superior to that of the economy of Jumy. So he's able to rebuild and remake faster. Now waddling in. And this time he will not be stopped. I expect it. Decent Nova. Nova goes up, but there's nothing else behind this. One Immortal, two Stalkers, GG gets called, and ByuN, he will take the game. He'll extend the lead in the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played, ByuN. He will take it. Definitely some rough moments for ByuN, but he had a really nice start. Remember, ByuN, he was able to deal some nice economic damage, able to build up towards that stim and +1 timing as well. He was also able to delay the natural base for so long for Jumy. So ByuN, he had a decent start, but he did end up losing a lot of his lead when it came to the eventual tank move out. The first push with 3 tanks across the map, he lost all the tanks, he lost all the marines, he lost all the medevacs as well. It was a very expensive loss there for ByuN. Thankfully, as we mentioned, Jumy never dealt any harassing damage. There was no run-bys, counterattacks, drop play, the economy was untouched, and by the end of the game, the reality is that ByuN did have the superior economy to Jumy, so despite those losses, he could still sustain them. He could sustain those losses, he could rebuild, and was able to keep himself going. GG. GG, well played. With that, ByuN does extend the lead here for Shopify, and oh boy, it's been a rough start here for Streamerzone. As we mentioned, like the Streamerzone, they're coming in as the underdogs as a team. We spoke earlier as well how Nightmare losing the first game was a really rough start as well. I do feel like they did need him to kind of set the tone, set the stage, and kind of take charge of the series for them. And now we're on, in a way, match point. Remember, this is a best of 5, so one more game is all that Shopify needs to claim the series, and we're getting ready for the best part. The 2v2s, papi. Let's go. It is going to be Harambo. Now, Lambo and Harstem, the scary thing here is that Lambo and Harstem, they have a lot of experience with 2v2s, right? They stream a lot together, they do a lot of content together, and they also competed together in the Thermal 2v2 League, right? They did compete together, so they have a lot of experience, and I would say they are most likely the best 2v2 team in the league in this tournament. There are some arguably better 2v2 players individually, but they're not necessarily with their teammates. What I'm getting at is, remember, who are the other top teams in 2v2? Clem and Trigger, but Clem is on Team Liquid, Trigger's on Basilisk. They cannot play together in this tournament. Likewise, who else do we have? Spirit and Max. Well, neither of them are part of these teams, so neither of them are here, right? So with these other like big top teams, another one that comes to mind is GG Machine and Shameless. They're also very good, very powerful. They're not here either. I'm thinking of players like Nickrat and Gerald, also not here as they're not on the same team. So because a lot of these other like 2v2 pairings and 2v2 notorious teams are not on the same team together, they're not competing in this league, this is where Lambo and Harstem can thrive, right? Like they've got that experience, they've got the builds, they've got the synergy as well. They're synced up, baby, they're synced up. And we'll see if Nightmare and SOS can bring it to them. It's gonna be a tall ask. Oh boy. So best of luck to Nightmare and SOS, as again, they have, from my understanding, I believe they've never competed in a 2v2 tournament together. Unfortunately, a lot of the Koreans are very inexperienced in 2v2 events, and they're most likely very inexperienced with the 2v2 meta as well. So yeah, that's also going to be a bit of a disadvantage for them. There are some Terran players that have more experience, but once again, they're on the same team. Like I'm thinking of ByuN and Percival. ByuN and Percival, they played together. They're on the same team, so they can't show up. Likewise, Gumiho and Ryung, they also did 2v2s together, and they're also not on the same teams. Just like we had a lot of fun covering Maru and Ryung playing together for the first time, and it was definitely something. But here we go. We're jumping into our next set here. We're jumping into our 2v2, loading into Gem Garden. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom, oh sorry, on the right side. On the right side of Gem Garden, we do have the Shopify Rebellion team. We have the duo. We have Lambo and Harstem. We have Harambo. Beautiful. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the double Protoss team, the teal and blue Protoss, SOS and Nightmare representing Streamerzone. Here we go. And again, Shopify, they're up 2-0. One more win is all they need to claim this series, to claim this initial match. First things first, Harstem does move out this probe, and we'll see if he's able to pylon block their opponents and delay the expansions. We have seen that already here in the 2v2s. This can be very annoying to deal with. Trigger was able to pull that off when he was playing the Basilisk 2v2 matches. We'll see if Harstem does something similar. At the same time, Lambo does go hatch first. So standard opener here out of a Lambo, and Harstem does move in, and it should be looking to delay the expansions. Do you see Nightmare walling up here on the high ground? As there is, yep, there we go, pylon blocks. As we mentioned, Trigger did the same thing. It does feel like the go-to, does feel like the meta, to just pylon block, delay the expansions, and delay the economies for the opposing Protoss players. You can see SOS here. Pylon does finish. SOS, he just wants to expand. When it comes to Gem Garden, welcome one and all. This is one of the TLMC maps, one of the new team game maps in the map pool that's going to be added to the ladder map pool. We do have some tumors leading into the main base that leads into this pocket area where you do have 2 fresh expansions. I say pocket area because we have double layering of rocks coming in towards the top side, and we have a mineral wall here towards the center as well. So this area is fully walled off. There's a lot of layers of protection, so trying to all in and trying to rush from here does seem quite difficult. Now, do you remember what Harstem did the last time he played with Lambo? Well, Harstem went for a 1 base 8 gate all in, and what did Lambo do? Lambo, he just fed him. Lambo's like, open up, and he just fed Harstem as much as he could take. He took it all back, and Harstem basically, he went 1v2. He went 1v2, 1 base, I think it was a 10 gate all in actually. Like a 1 base 10 gate all in. With the boosted economy, because Lambo was of course sharing resources. We'll see if we do something similar here. It did seem quite powerful. And Lambo's taking another base. So even though you might look at this, you might be like, hey, Harstem, he's laying the expansions of their opponents, that's true, but Harstem's still only on 1 base. I mean, I believe the plan is to feed him. This is something that we did not feature in the 2v2 league. If you remember, in Euthermal's 2v2 league and 2v2 circuit, they kind of got rid of this style by removing the ability to feed. As they played on a mod. They didn't remove the ability. I should emphasize, they increased the time that it takes for you to be able to feed. Basically, there's an in-game clock, there's an in-game timer, and once that timer expires, then you can start feeding your opponents. And they extended that with a mod. But Harstem, he does take his natural. Okay, so Harstem, he's finally expanding, which means that's most likely, I mean, we have link speed. Yeah, link speed is on the way, so Lambo, he's going to be taking part in this initial 2v2 this time. We're not just going to feed Harstem. File a council for our Protoss. Lings, they try to keep up with the Adepts. Shading to the main. When it comes to our tech of choice, SOS is going into a Stargate, so Stargate open out of SOS, and meanwhile we do have extra gateways out of Nightmare, and no one expands. Yeah, Nightmare and SOS, no one's expanding. We're going for the proxies. 1 base all in. 1 base all in out of Streamerzone. It's all or nothing. We'll see if they can break Shopify. Let's go. It's going to be Mass Stalker. There's no blink, of course. No blink. No upgrades. Lambo and Harstem, they have not scouted. I'm sure they're somewhat aware that there's no expansion at least. Oh, now he knows. Yeah, now he knows. Now he does realize. Armies coming together. Ooh, everyone's being shut down. Lambo, supply block. Massive supply block for Lambo. Lambo can't make anything. So now he has to kind of trade resources. Do something with his economy. Yeah, brutal supply block. Likewise, Mass Stalkers moving in. Again, there is no blink. The Oracles, they come in to support. Lings, they get shut down. And this may just be too much. Yeah, Harstem expanded. Lambo was droning. They were building up towards a longer game state, and it took them so long to confirm the all-in. Okay. Streamerzone, they're popping up. And they may have struggled in the 1v1s, but SOS and Nightmare, they commit to the 1 base all-in. They overwhelm the Lings, they overwhelm the Stalkers, and they should be able to break Shopify. Let's go. Let's go. I love how essentially Nightmare and SOS, they were like, you know what, you're going to block our bases, we're just not going to expand. We just won't expand. And hey, if you're not going to scout us, then, I mean, that's going to be game. It's going to be game here. As the Nexus is going to fall. Hatchery as well. Lambo, he has built up a decent amount of links. He's going for the counterattack, trying to depower the gateways. Okay. Delay reinforcements, which is great and all, but even without reinforcements, I don't think these Saugers can be dealt with. There's just so many of them. As they're making their way over towards Lambo's natural, or his third base. Where do we find it? Lambo, he will preserve some of those drones, but the hatchery will go down. At the same time, Lambo going for a massive counterattack. That's a lot of Zerglings, but there are oracles to defend. And these oracles, they just go to town. Jesus, so many Zerglings going to be falling. They can maybe force a cancel. Nah, not even. They head on over to Nightmare's base. Sorry to SOS's. They do force a cancellation. So nicely done here by Lambo. At the same time, Harstem did go Dark Shrine. Did go for DTs. They go for the Dark Shrine. They're breaking out. Yeah, we're getting a little bit messy here. Hey, no detection for the Protoss army. We need the Oracle. Ooh, but Harstem's getting caught. Harstem bleeding out more Stalkers. More Stalkers going down. And yeah, this is still just a bit of an awkward engage. Nightmare and SOS, they still have the greater armies. Oh, we can see Lambo coming in for the surround though. Okay. There's Revelation. Okay, there's Revelation, which means where's the pulsar beam? Yeah, we have that much less energy. Forcing a recall. Whew. He does recall away. Oh no! The Oracle's left idle. One Oracle goes down. These Oracles, they do matter. At least until there's an observer. Okay, we have a back and forth. So a couple of things here. Lambo, he saved the base. He saved the expansion. He did lose a lot of drones, unfortunately. He lost a lot of workers, so his economy is crippled. But once again, he does force a cancel. Likewise, Harstem also with a crippled economy here, just trying to get his own natural base up and running. But they did survive, and their main bases were left untouched. Okay. So the game is going to slow down. I thought that SOS and Nightmare, they'd be able to just break the natural and then push into the main, but they did decide to back off and go for the third base of Lambo instead, and not push up into said main base. So with that, Harstem and Lambo, they survive. They live to fight another day. And we'll see if that. Oh, we'll see if they can recover. Lambo this entire time has been joining up. Selected with these Zerglings. We have a Dark Shrine for SOS. Uh-oh. Oof. Yeah, at least they caught out. Brutal pickups. Lambo has to pull back, getting a fourth expansion. Lambo's still trying to redrone. Lambo's on 36 workers, likewise so is Harstem. SOS and Nightmare still also building up themselves. Nightmare is being active. Very nice force field. But Nightmare is on his own. He has to be careful. His army gets spotted. Yeah, he got spotted. Harstem and Lambo, they respond. They react. There's the ping. Nightmare is on his own. He has to get out of here. And I'm hoping he has a recall. Force fields can buy some time. There's the recall. And we'll lose one Stalker. Oh, two. So two Stalkers go down. Force the recall back home. And this means that Harstem and Lambo, they're free to expand. They're free to expand. They've realized, okay, we have map control. SOS and Harstem, they did back off. Behind the spores are in the Zerg bases, at least, most of them. Meanwhile, Harstem, does he have detection? Oh, we have an overseer. Okay, there's an overseer. DTs, they waddle in. Oh! Yeah, they won within range. Dark Templar are going to be going down. And they are revealed. We can see Lambo trying to open up the back door. He'll get there eventually. Again, double layered rocks. Crazy. He'll eventually break in. And the game is somewhat slowing down. I do give the edge to Harstem and Lambo as they have been greedier, so they have a stronger economy. Lambo's on 4 bases, now getting a 5th expansion. Oh. Meanwhile, Harstem's on 3. Nightmare's still on 2, and SOS just now claiming his own 3rd base as well. So economically, again, Shopify, they're looking good, looking solid. We do have Disruptors building up for Nightmare, and Disruptors, they can make up for an otherwise smaller army. That is true. Disruptors have potential. No Bailey Nest. I was hoping there was a Bailey Nest here for Lambo so you could just like try to bust into that wall. Oh, actually, never mind. Just going past the wall entirely. Okay. I mean, that works as well. Setting up the link drop that was spotted. Yeah, Link, they won't achieve too much. As they will at least distract Nightmare. Should say distract SOS. Link's collapsing in. Oh. They do try to commit to this around. Bit of an awkward engage, but a better trade here for Lambo. Shuts down the main army. Again, there's no splash damage. Disruptors are too far behind. Oh, there it goes off. Nice connection. Very nice. Oh no, nothing over. Jesus. Yeah, Lambo not quite paying attention. He was distracted by his own Lings. Busting into the main. And he does create an opening. That's what's important here. There is now an opening. Harstem pushing in as well, opening up that wall. Harstem does pull away. This entire time still just mass ling at a Lambo. It's impressive that Lambo, he has not gone for any tech whatsoever. I believe the rationale for this, like he's mining gas. Like Lambo, he's been mining gas, but I believe he's giving a lot of his gas to Harstem. We spoke earlier about trading resources. As Lambo's been very Ling heavy, taking him towards Hive, and this should be towards Ultra Tech. Harstem does get into the mineral line. Main armor's out of position. Out of position. Brutal damage here. Probes are going down. Ay, ay, ay. Oh. There's no quite connect. As things are getting to another base. Another expansion. They try to focus on the Nexus. This is not going to be worth it though, as he will not get it. Nexus will survive. That was a big loss there for Lambo. Throwing away a lot of supply. Meanwhile, the Hive is done. We've got Vipers on the way for Lambo. Still waiting for the Ultra Cavern, as we have yet to throw down that tech. There it is. Ultra Cavern's down on the way. Lings, they come in for a flank. The Novas. Oh my god, no major connections. Nice splits. And nice splits does avoid. And with that, Lings, they collapse in. Things are almost cracked. Almost. But nice rounds here. Looks down the Archons. Cleans up most of the army. Lings, I mean, they're doing such a great job just being a supportive unit here to just interfere, to lock down some of these units, take away the kiting potential, to allow Harstem to keep up. And with that, wow, the turnaround, the comeback. I mean, again, SOS and Nightmare, they almost won this. They almost won this game at the beginning. As we mentioned before, they successfully broke the main army. They successfully caught Harstem and Lambo with their pants down. Lambo was supply blocked. Harstem was being greedy, and they lost their naturals, and they made a choice. They made a choice not to push into the main base. They pushed instead towards the third base of Lambo, which means they're able to buy some time, and Harstem and Lambo, they take it. GG. GG, well played. Harstem and Lambo, they will take the game and take the series for Shopify. GG. GG, well played. An impressive recovery there from Harstem and Lambo. Again, they were in a brutal position, down and out, losing their natural bases. They had a smaller army as well. Again, I do believe that if Nightmare and SOS decided to push up into the main base, they could have successfully broken that main. Remember, a lot of the supply for Lambo was across the map because he was trying to go for unbiased to make sure that there was no expansion, at least. I mean, there was none, at least not at the time. Harstem, he barely had an army either. Because Lambo was across the map, he couldn't support Harstem if they tried to push into the main base, so it came down to some of the decision making there for Team Streamerzone, and alas, they played it safe. You know, the safe thing to do in that position is kill the third and just contain the opposing team on one base, and in the end they failed to break the third base as there was a lot of chaos ensuing as time was bought, and GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Shopify for claiming the win here. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, we will still be playing out that final game between Gerald and Harstem. True. We still have that final game. Un momento. As I mentioned before, this is going to be important in regards to just overall standings and overall map score as well. It's going to be important as this is a round robin group stage, and every map, every score, every point does count. As we are loading into the final game of the series. Final game of the series, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Andromeda, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamerzone. We'll see if he can put a point on the board. We'll see if he can fight back for his team. It is Gerald. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, with the red Protoss representing Shopify, the land of the Netherlands. It is Harstem. Go. And again, it is always a little bit awkward. It is always a little bit difficult to be in Gerald's position, where, I mean, you could argue it either way, right? Where maybe you're feeling a little bit deflated just because your series and your game matters a little bit less, as it's been a rough series and Shopify have already won. Otherwise, you could argue that maybe there's less pressure, right? There's less pressure, you know, that has been alleviated off the shoulders of Gerald. You know, he can play a little bit more freely here. He can play at his best. There we go. So now we have a mirrored builds. 2-gate opener out of Harstem, 2-gate opener out of Gerald. So far, so good. Hello, Harstem. As he does move out the probe, it looks like he plans on hiding a pylon, and based on his positioning here, it's going to be a fake proxy pylon. We saw something very similar yesterday, actually, in yesterday's matches from Harstem as well. He was able to force an overreaction, able to fake out his opponent. As Gerald is in the main base, and Gerald, he knows that a pylon is missing. He knows that something is wrong. We know that it's a fake proxy, that it's a pylon not just on Harstem's side of the map, but Gerald is unaware. And we'll see if Gerald overreacts. If you recall, this happened between Skillus and Harstem in Team Liquid versus Shopify. I believe it was Skillus. Where Skillus, he kind of took the baits, and he did overreact. Harstem pokes in, sees all 3 pylons. Already defensive play here by Gerald. He's playing scared. Does scout nearby for proxy locations. He's looking for the pylon. Checks on the left, opens up double stalker, opening up with a third and fourth stalker as well. Likewise, third pylons in the main base. He's not set up to expand. He can still take a nexus, of course, but it's going to be more delayed, and likewise, it's going to be less of a defensive position there. That's Gerald. He's still looking, still searching, and he will get the nexus. Okay, so thankfully Gerald doesn't overreact. He's still searching, but we got the probe on the top side, we got both stalkers towards the south as well, and by this point Gerald should be relatively safe and secure, recognizing, hold up, you're nowhere near me. It was a fake out. As we settle into this, Harstem does have a slightly faster expansion as a result. Likewise, because his own pylon was on the low ground, he does have a better defensive setup here with the shield battery. Gerald's, his is going to be later. And we have faster tech for Harstem as well, opening up Robo. Okay. The Robo has been thrown down. Harstem is building up his immortal counts a bit. Typically, when you go for a robo opener like this, it does give you a big power spike early on, and it allows you to be more defensive. The downside, of course, is your lack of map awareness and map control. Unlike going for a blink or going for a Stargates, Harstem is going to be stuck at home. He doesn't have the mobility or flexibility the blink stalkers do allow you to have. Now, Harstem, he can turn this into a 2-base all-in. Winding it back, we didn't actually get to talk about the map itself. Welcome to Andromeda. Andromeda does have a very short rush distance by ground. From third base to third base, it's very short, and all-ins are favorite here. Harstem gets in, probes are going down. This is getting out of hand. Yeah, 4 or 5 probe fields at the same time. Gerald also gets in. Okay, we have a back and forth. Probes are falling, both players making mistakes, and both players will lose at 5 probes. Ooh, 6. So Gerald's slightly ahead in that. Does kill an extra worker. So he does pull his armor together. Extra gateways are on the way. But as we were getting at here, specifically from our triangular third base here to triangular third base, again, very short rushes by ground. Aggression is favored here, but looks like Harstem is planning to expand. As Harstem, he chose not to get a Twilight Council, chose not to go into charge or glaives. Uh-oh. The army is a little bit split. Pushing up a ramp. And that's pick up here by Gerald. Nicely done. Ooh, he'll lose a stalker himself, but did cost Harstem some force fields. Nice follow-up force field though. Okay. The control. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Jesus. As the force fields dominate, and with that, Gerald, he will lose almost the entire army. Ay. Prism is out across the map, but Harstem does not expand. It's time to reinforce, time to warp in. Remember, behind this, he has 4 gates. He has 4 gateways up and running. He commits across the map, and Gerald, he is hurting. He's in danger. He has a third of the supply. A third of the army supply. Oh, as he warps in. From here, he's going to be forced back, and Harstem can just snowball out of control. He can just snowball out of control from here. He can force his way in. He's got 2 immortals once again. Nice force field. Blink this time is done. But you can see just how dominant force fields are pre-blink. And Harstem has done it. At this point, he has done it. Stutter steps in, takes down the battery. Zoning away those stalkers. And Gerald, he will lose a natural. Boys are being pulled. Gerald trying to dive in. He will go for the prism. The prism is gonna go down, but at what cost, Pappy? At what cost? As he will lose the base, he'll lose the middle line. GG gets called, and Harstem, he will claim the series. He will clean up, and we're gonna have a clean sweep here for Shopify, 4-0. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Congratulations here to Shopify. They did come in as the favored team, but there were definitely opportunities here for Streamerzone, and I was most surprised by the the 2v2 by Nightmare and SOS. Honestly, they had a really strong start, a really strong early game as well, going for the one base all in. Again, they were doing so much damage, they had the potential to break Shopify, but they barely did not. They did decide to pull away. They played a little bit more safer, a little bit more conservatively, and with that, Shopify did recover. Harstem and Lambo did bring it back. They brought it back. Then also, of course, Lambo, Harstem, and ByuN, they were able to win their respective games and respective matches in those best of ones as well. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here. So Shopify, they start things off with a win, but bearing in mind that this is not the last that we see of Streamerzone. This is a round robin group stage, and they're going to be going up against Team Vitality after this series, or up next. True, up next. So Shopify, they start things off with a win. Streamerzone start things off with a loss, but we'll see if Streamerzone can recover as we have that second match. Bam! Team Vitality have been patiently waiting. Here we have our lineups. We have Team Vitality stepping into the ring with Zhao, Maru, and Ryung, and they're going to be going up against Streamerzone, this time featuring Luna C. Looks like Jumy has gone to bed. Jumy, he has gone to bed, replaced by Luna C instead. So we have Luna C, Gerald, and Nightmare. And SOS, of course. For the time being, we're going to be going on a short break. For those that are curious, we have 3 matches tonight. We have 3 matches. We just wrapped up with our first series. Up next, of course, is going to be, as you can see here, Streamerzone versus Vitality. And then after that, we have Shopify versus Vitality to end the broadcast and to determine who will make it through in this round robin group stage. Oh boy. For now, though, again, we're going to be going on a short break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain the disruptors, massage your marines, and we'll be back soon with this next best of 5 team match. See you soon.